I decided to make a last-minute decision and go to Kipnuk, Alaska, my second hometown where my dad is from. Almost every village in Alaska has an airport like this where you have to go and it's just an outside airport. There's no buildings that you can go into and wait in. It's nothing like the city. It's just an airport with a bunch of things like this. You basically just wait at your house until you hear the airplane is coming in, and usually you hear it on a VHF or they call you or something like that, which Ute Air, they did not let me know that my morning flight was in, so I missed my morning flight, and nobody from Kalskag made it to their morning flight that day because they didn't have any communication. Oh look, this is the runway, by the way. But Ute Air, they are something else. I don't know. And this was me when I was waiting for the evening flight because they didn't call me about my morning flight. I was just playing the guitar, kind of letting my emotions out because I was very annoyed that I missed my morning flight because I was so excited to go to Kipnuk. But when you get to the airport, you wait until you see the plane like this come in, and they land on that little airport, and you can't land any like jets or anything on these little runways, so they come in usually with like little 207s or with caravans, whichever one that they can send. This is me taking off in the little 207. That's my grandparents' truck. They were watching me take off. So sweet of them. But this is kind of what it looks like inside the plane. I was able to actually see my house. That's my grandparents' house that they built, and I always acknowledge them for that because it's crazy how good they built that house. And then here's all the other houses in Kalskag, and this is kind of what a village looks like. This is Upper Kalskag. I couldn't get a video of Lower Kalskag, but there's a Lower Kalskag, and I don't understand why. I just call it Kalskag, honestly. Every little 207 plane has one of these, and it's just basically a safety thing that you look at. The next village that I was flying to was Aniak, and usually when you're flying to village, you kind of make pit stops for other passengers out there. This flight was in particular pretty bumpy compared to most flights that you fly on when you're flying from village to village. But the flight was a lot of fun, and we got to see like the Kalskag River here, which is the main river on the Kalskag River. One thing that I do want to point out is look at all these hills and trees, and you're going to put them into comparison later with when I go down towards the coast. The flight from Kalskag to Aniak is very short. It's probably like 10 to 15 minute flight over, especially when the wind was like in our favor. The wind was blowing with us, so here we are, landing. Growing up, I always thought being a pilot would be a lot of fun, but I've never gotten my pilot's license yet, but I do want to get it someday, just because, I think that it would be pretty fun to have a plane when you're in Alaska because you can get to all kinds of different places. Here are kind of what the controls look like in a little 207 airplane, and I think that it just looks very complicating. But the pilot went out for a little bit, so I kind of just showed what it would look like if you're a passenger back here, and not sure what I was doing there, but here we are taking off to Bethel now, and it was very windy, very rainy, very scary, but I'm very happy that I was able to make it. Notice how there's starting to be less and less trees as we are flying to Bethel. They're like kind of scarce now after being so abundant. I was also pointing out there was a lot of huge beaver houses. Like, those are like beaver mansions. Insane. And they're in places that people probably can't get to. Good for them, though, because if I was a beaver, you know what? I would want to get away from people, too. And usually when you're flying, you usually pass by villages. This was Tuluksak, I believe. If it's not Tuluksak, forgive me, but I believe this is Tuluksak. And the other one that I passed by, I believe this was Akichok, or Akiachok. And yeah, I used to come here to play ball when I was in high school, and don't mind Cherry, he's barking in the background, but yeah, like, these villages just are here, and we usually just fly past them when we're going to Bethel. Now, this is Bethel. Bethel is a hub for many villages on the Kalskag. The hospital is here, the airport is here, the airport that, takes the jets and stuff. But yeah, this is a place where people go to get checkups, or if they have to go to Anchorage, they'll go to Anchorage from here. And then I made it inside the Ute Air terminal when I was waiting for my bags. And it's not that big of a terminal. It's a small little terminal because it's a small terminal. And then I made it to my aunt's house, and this doggo right here can smile, and it's very, very cute. And I tried my best to make him smile, but I gave up. And then Daisy here, of course, was being the cute little Daisy that she was. And I didn't get any more video because I was hanging out with my aunt and my cousins. But this dog right here was so cute. Just so cute. And then I woke up in the morning, even though I was really not wanting to because I stayed up until like 3 in the morning with my cousins talking about anime and other fun stuff. So as you can see here, I was not ready to fly, but I was acting like I was. Then I got to the small terminal again and was bored because all they had for entertainment was that sled, which was, you know, historical and awesome, but at the same time, like, they don't have no pop, they don't have no good snacks, they just don't have anything really. Except there's this one lady who was like really nice to me, so I really liked her, but everything else, boring. They gotta add like TV or something in there, or even like a coffee stand, you know? After waiting for what felt like 12 hours, we started flying over. It started getting really foggy at one point, very cloudy, and I started to think that I'm going to disappear in the clouds and nobody's ever going to hear from me again, but we got past that, and I'm very thankful. But as you can see, as we got closer and closer to Kipnuk, closer and closer to the coast, there started to be less and less, you know, like, vegetation, as in trees and, you know, like, bushes, and it just became very marshy, and it's a whole different land over here. But that's what I like about it. After flying for about an hour, we finally reached Kipnuk, and I was so thankful. I fell asleep on the flight, and when I woke up, I saw this beautiful place, and I was like, wow, home. Flying on these little airlines in Alaska definitely has its challenges, especially when Ute Air was not communicating well with me and made me miss my flight and made me miss an extra day that I could have spent in Kipnuk. But I'm grateful that I got here anyway. Maybe it wasn't meant to be. Things always happen for a reason. When we landed in Kipnuk, I saw my family waiting for me over there, and I got so happy. There's my dad and then my little cousin. He was smiling from cheek to cheek. It was just adorable. Finally getting to Kipnuk and, you know, smelling that fresh coast air and even the mud. Like, some people don't like the mud smell, but personally it gives me nostalgia. So I was just, so many memories were going through my head while we were driving to my grandma's house. It was so good to see family and be in my grandma's house again and just finally be done with traveling from place to place. So, especially recording. Recording was quite hard, to be honest, like while traveling, because I had to remember to pull out my camera every time. Okay, so that wraps up the entire video of traveling from Kalskag to Kipnuk. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to say hi to my Auntie Laura, you go follow her on her TikTok. And her YouTube too. She's awesome. Okay. Bye.